Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6, which might actually be the best job in the world for me to have. Now, where we left off, we had a very funky start. We have a really good science game going here, but we're currently on par with the AI. Now, we are a little bit behind culturally, but that's okay. We can definitely catch up on culture. We have insanely good marsh tiles throughout my empire, and we have a very weird landmass that we've managed to settle on with some really interesting potential if we can get a couple of observatories up here to the north. I think killing Caguana and killing Samarkand are going to formulate part of my plans. So I reckon we're going to want to build ancient walls, get some catapults and maybe a couple of swordsmen with a battering ram and try to just knock these cities down. If we can capture these two cities, I think it would open up a lot of potential for my empire. I think I would like to settle a city over here. There's a decent enough land to make a city work. I would like maybe another city somewhere up here to the north, and then maybe a city down here in the southeastern tundra, and maybe a city over here near this patch of fertile land, maybe like on that desert tile right there. I think there's quite a bit of potential here to make a fairly expansive empire. Now, the downside is that a lot of this land is going to be outside the 6 range of my capital, but I kind of just think it's really important that we own this whole island, as well as we have a few coastal cities. And while I would normally be quite happy to keep Samarkand and Caguana around, I think I've recently become a little bit more militaristic when it comes to dealing with city-states. My income is really good, as is my faith income, because somehow I got a relic this game, which, you know, I don't even know how to explain. We just finished the watermill in the capital, which boosted construction. Remember, that's worth an era score. We're going to stop sending envoys to places like Samarkand and Caguana, and instead we're going to be saving them for Mitla. Now, Mitla gives you a 15% growth rate boost in cities with a campus district, so that's going to be where we focus the majority of our great scientist or envoy points. I would really like to get hold of Hypatia, which is where this faith could potentially come in useful. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get Hypatia, so what could we do to make that work? I could run a 2-turn campus research grant to try and secure Hypatia, which I think is a reasonable thing to do. She's one of the better great scientists for us to pick up this game. If we take a look at the great scientist list, Hypatia is one of the S tier ones because it gives you +1 science per district. Isaac Newton is another S tier one, and so is Albert Einstein. So if I could secure those 3, I'd be very happy. Ibn Khaldun is also really damn good. So I would be quite happy with, I don't care about any of the medieval era great scientists, so I think I'm going to try to secure Hypatia with a campus research grant. And then we'll kind of try to play for the Renaissance. Let's go ahead and plant a city here. This isn't going to be the world's greatest city, but it will be an acceptably good city. I'm going to go ahead and get this fishing tile online. And the reason I'm going for the fishing tile is because it'll provide half a point of housing. In conjunction with this truffles will be a full point of housing. Housing will be a little bit of a problem for us this game. We should be able to get an aqueduct to this city, and that might give us the benefit of fresh water. I'm pretty sure that's how that works as this civilization. And we can probably do something similar in Palenque. And this also leaves us with some decent potential industrial zones that we could do at some point on this tundra land, which we might do. Now, let's have a look at Koba. I do think industrial zones makes a lot of sense this game, actually. So we're probably going to do industrial zones fairly early if we can. The city of Koba is going to immediately go for a monument. We need that. Now, I think after we go for games and recreation, oh man, I really need to build the Colosseum. So I think I'll have to kill Samarkand and Caguana after we get the Colosseum. I think that just has to be the first thing we do, which sucks. I'm going to pay the money in Koba to immediately go for the government plaza. It's actually too important a piece of infrastructure for me to ignore it. And then I'm probably going to save gold to buy a granary in here because the city's going to struggle to grow without that. So yeah, selling resources I think is the way to go about that. So once I get truffles, maybe I'll get like spare copies or something. I also really want to buy this citrus if I can. So yeah, we're in a little bit of a gold crunch right now. That's fine. We might have to do a man-at-arms trebuchet push. We're just delaying. Machu Picchu has been built by another player. There's Petra, as well as games and recreation. So let me have a look at the city overlap map. I'm trying to decide where this goes. So I think the Colosseum should go right there, because that will hit all 4 of my cities, and I guess we're going to need some cash for that. Let's go ahead and buy this tile. We'll go for the campus research grants. We'll go for the entertainment complex on that tile as well. And the Colosseum will go 1 tile to the right. And that should be really nice. Now, the nice thing about the Colosseum is that it provides 2 culture, 2 loyalty, and 2 amenities to all cities within 6 tiles. So a few of our cities will benefit from that. We did just finish mathematics. Let's go ahead and, we haven't built a pasture. So we'll go astrology into celestial navigation. And then I guess we haven't built a pasture. Can I get a pasture somewhere? Unfortunately not, so we'll have to skip that piece of era score. We'll go to construction instead. I can get a boost for apprenticeship soon, I think. What's our next step? I think we'll go for recorded history to get that governor title. We can start to build up Pingala. Now, do I want to do an internal or external trade route? I think I would like to keep growing my capital, but I mean, it's growing pretty well. The +1 production would be really nice in Koba because the city is struggling, so I think trading with my capital from there makes a lot of sense. Okay, there's astrology. We're going to trade with the capital, and that'll give the city +1 production, which will shave a lot of turns off of this. We'll also get this truffles online, which will allow the city to grow more actively. It's really struggling with growth because it has a 50% penalty right now. Let's go ahead and pop down that camp for the half a point of housing. And that will open up the growth in here. And we'll be able to focus on production soon. Do I want to focus on food to grow? Yeah, I can grow in 2 turns if I focus on food. Let's claim Hypatia. Boom. That will lead to Abu al-Kazim al-Zahrawi. I don't know how to say that. But this guy, we don't care about getting him. We cared about getting Hypatia. I will turn her into a library in the capital. Yes, because that will scale better with Pingala. Boom. So we get our free library, and I think we get era score for building that library too. But more importantly, now our library base science is actually +3. It's actually 4 because we do have Mitla. I need to get a couple of galleys out. I forgot to change my government around, but that'll just have to happen later. Let's buy this tile. Then I need to save up 100 gold for this citrus. Would really like that citrus tile if I could get it. We have Celestial Navigation, so we can place our trading district in Palenque. Still haven't even placed the main district yet, and we're still working on the monument. I think the granary is important enough to go ahead of the galleys. Maybe. It's just the amount of growth that a galley represents is huge. So this, man, I have to buy so many tiles. This builder exists to chop out the Petra, but I haven't even started to buy those tiles yet. I need to sell off all of this iron and this Diplo favor. I'll sell it for gold per turn. I'm wondering, does anyone sell Diplo favor for nothing? No, okay. But yeah, I need to get this Petra tile in like the next 6 turns. And I also need to buy these choppables. So cheaper tile purchasing is really helping me out here and optimizing my plays. Brilliant. There's the boost to engineering. So we just finished Ancient Walls. We got horseback riding finished as well. And we finished drama and poetry. So we can get theatre squares. The good news is we also finished a monument in Palenque, and we've got a builder in position potentially. We do now have the cash. No, next turn we can buy the Petra slot, and then we can start looking into chopping out the Petra with 3 chops. We should probably take out colonization and plug in Core V. I think that's the right play. This is a classical era wonder, so we will get the 15% boost from that. You could make an argument that we should go to autocracy, but I think, for the 10% production towards wonders, but I'm going to stay in Classical Republic because I think it's just a better government. I really need to buy this tile. Nobody has met Samarkand yet though, have they? Don't know. Sell off a little bit more iron for gold. I think I can get away with buying this tile first and then improving the pasture on it. I think I would prefer to work the truffles. But that orange could potentially be sold for a big old chunk of 11 gold per turn. That's huge. We need to buy the Petra tile. Okay, I need to buy the Petra tile. I need to buy the chopping tiles. I need to buy the Colosseum tile. I need to buy the campus tile here. I need to buy a granary in here. This is so much gold. But this is the kind of save that can do this kind of early game gold purchasing strategy fairly easily. Terracotta Army, there's lumber mills. Ooh, I don't like that we're going to the next era. That was a really fast era. I feel like that was a super fast classical era. Shit. That felt too fast. All right, let's see. Let's start the plan. Okay, planning. If I immediately start researching mysticism and theology, I'll get 2 envoys, which could be potentially enough to take over a city-state. That would be worth some era score. If I put an envoy into Samarkand right now, I will get +2 era score. And then if I put 2 envoys into Caguana, I will get another 2 era score. So that's, boom. 2 era score right there. I need to get 6 era score in the next few turns. A galley is worth 2. 2 galleys would boost shipbuilding, which would be another +2. So X2 galley +1. So that's 3 era score. A swordsman upgrade. Swords is +1. So that's 4 era score. And then if I get mysticism and theology before the era ends, I will be able to get first suzerainty of Caguana, which should be a golden age secured. I should probably have a backup pair of era score. Probably meeting other players with galleys is the thing to do. So let me cancel this. We'll go for galley. Man, such a gold crunch. I do have extra luxuries I can sell. Boom. How much for a galley? I can build one galley if I plug in the card that makes galleys build twice as fast, or maybe we can make this work. Production focus. Unlock these tiles. That's a 9-turn galley instead of 13 turns. We can get it even faster. Researching a next era tech would be good. We can also boost apprenticeship fairly easily here. We should be able to build a mine fairly simply on this stone tile. So let's buy the stone tile. Now we're in position. Okay, I think we have a golden age secured. It took me a little bit of manipulation. You're going to be there. Let's immediately get started on that Petra. Boom. 27 turn Petra. Now, we are producing 13 production per turn. I'm going to focus on production in this city because we are at our population limit. Harvesting would get me 88 production. That would be 1/4 of this. So I think I will harvest. Boom. Take quite a few turns off this. We have the entertainment complex. Let's immediately get started on the arena. It wouldn't be bad to get a JEB Barkal in here too. It's a ton of spare faith for a wonder, so I wouldn't mind getting that, especially because it would overlap with at least 4 cities, so that's potentially 16 faith. Yeah, could be really good. Okay, there's mysticism. We got an envoy. I'm going to take out land surveyors temporarily. I'm going to plug in maritime industries. Boom. Now that's a 4-turn galley. We're going to send an envoy to Kagwana. Boom. We're going to build a mine here. Boom. 38 era score and apprenticeship boosted. Plus that's worth era score for researching a tech ahead of time. We're going to place wood or chop woods here. Boom. To get that faster. And I think we can actually secure a golden age with maybe a single galley. So let me see. I'm going to buy this and then you'll go improve that tile. I think we're in a good spot here to get this Petra in a couple of turns. And then I can move Magnus down to Koba, I think. You're full on population, so why don't you go on production focus for me? While you're full on pop. +1 era score from researching apprenticeship. Also, that gives me +1 production on my mines, which is amazing. That's one of my favorite parts of apprenticeship. We can also get started on planning and placing our industrial zones, which we will likely do this game. Let's go ahead and chop this Petra. Boom. A 1-turn Petra left. Perfect. Couldn't have asked for a better Petra roll this game. It would be nice to go for universities. I'm going to go ahead and unlock engineering. I definitely want to build aqueducts this game to boost military engineering. I want to try to boost my way through the tech tree to keep myself competitive. But there's a really damn good Petra. One of my favorite wonders in the entire game. It gives you +2 food, +2 gold, and +1 production on all desert tiles for this city. Non-floodplains desert tiles. So hills and flatland become very workable tiles. We also got +2 era score for building a galley. Which means a golden age is secured, so we don't need to focus on getting more era score, but I may as well finish that second galley. It'll save me money by building it. We're also going to buy the Colosseum tile, put that there. In Copan, there's not many shops in here now, so what I'm going to get this city to do is to place its commercial hub. Boom. I'm also would like to improve these Petra hills, so I'm going to grab myself a couple of extra builders. We're a little bit away from feudalism, so we don't need to rush that. But a couple of extra builders in here would be nice. I'm going to cancel the commercial hub. I want those builders to get these tiles improved. Plus the city has like a little bit of production surplus that I can send to other cities. That'll help them out. Could also potentially go for settlers in here. Great Bath. I don't want to build the Great Bath. But yeah, looking good in Copan. I'm going to take Magnus. I'm going to reassign him to Koba. We can do a lot of chopping down here. There's a few hills we can use for production, but we are going to chop out these tundra hills. So I'm going to place mine tiles on the tundra tiles that we plan to chop. So we plan to chop these two as well. Let's immediately go for our government plaza. I definitely feel like this is an audience chamber game where we want to benefit a lot from governors. Those are +2 amenities are huge. Ancestral Hall is nice, but I think this is an audience chamber game. We're on 4 cities, 47 science. We're currently 3rd science in the game. Now our culture is very weak. 19 culture per turn is pathetic, but we should be able to fix that by finally promoting Pingala with Connoisseur. It's a very late promotion of Connoisseur. That will get us +1 culture per population in here, bringing us up to 29 culture. That was about 10 culture per turn in here because Pingala also gives you a 15% boost, and I just naturally get a 20% boost with my current amenity level. So really fantastic stuff. Let's start galley exploring. Oh my god, actually I should wait until next era to galley explore because I will get era score for doing that. All right, arena is completed. Let's get the Colosseum. I don't think we need to bother chopping out the Colosseum. It is quite a late Colosseum, but I don't think it's necessary to chop it. Okay, there's Persia. Unfortunate that we met him this turn. That's another era score wasted. There's engineering, so we could get started on catapults. We also have theology, so we could get suzerainty of Kagwana. We do plan to kill those, though. I'll do them for era score. Let's grab education. It's a good tech. Here's my question to myself. Am I going to go for a industrial zone in the capital, because if I am, the best place to put it is right here with an aqueduct boosting it, which means my Jebel Barkal tile is weaker. On the other hand, if I decide not to go for that, if I go for Jebel Barkal, there is an amazing theatre square in my capital which could really carry the culture in my empire. And I think that might be the right way to go, is to go for science and culture in my capital, try to carry my game that way, while my outside cities focus on other stuff. But I like the idea of a +5 theatre square. Then again, I could always get a +5 theatre square here, like +4. So, yeah, I think I'll skip the industrial zone in my capital. Might build it in other cities, but not my capital. Let's immediately get to work towards feudalism. We definitely want feudalism for the +2 build charges on builders. We do want to pick up recorded history for the governor title and defensive tactics for the governor title. We're also going to pick up military tradition just for the flanking and support combat bonuses. So I'll go recorded history, military tradition, and defensive tactics. These are just like default unlocks. Great Bath has been built by another player. There's the Great Library. I think the Great Library went quite a while ago. A Great Writer has been taken. We're going to go ahead and promote Pengala with a researcher promotion. We also want to get grants for the 100% Great People points. So grants means I'm now up to 59 science per turn, which is ahead of all of the AIs. So this is a bit of a science rush game. We're going to build mines in here to get the city to have really damn good production. There's knowledge of shipbuilding being boosted. We got our second galley, and we can go ahead and finish the granary in here. I have the money. Would love to get these farming tiles online, but it doesn't seem like it's critically important. Let me see, I've got 2 farms. That would be 3-4 farms. I think I'm going to build settlers in here when I get time. I'm going to go ahead and drop maritime industries and plug in builder production for a few turns while I get this builder out. And then probably after military training for the envoy, we'll switch to settler production. So we head into the next era. We are heading into a golden age. Now, we could go for +1 culture per specialty district, or we could go for commercial hubs to provide gold adjacency. I don't think we have the faith economy for a monumentality golden age, and I think all the religions are gone, so there's no point going for a exodus of the evangelists to get the great prophet points. A shred, I could get a shred of culture or a smattering of science. I think I'd go for the shred of culture because that's where I'm weak. It's not much culture realistically, but it's like a couple of extra monuments worth, which really just helps me out cover one of my empire's biggest weaknesses, because I think I'm already steaming along in science and I don't have any commercial hubs built, nor will I have any really built before the era is potentially ending. So I think just getting a little bit of culture right now helps me a lot more than anything else. But now that we're officially in the next era, we can start exploring much more aggressively and actually discovering what's out there. Meenakshi Temple has been built, and units of the melee variety will get bonus combat strength. In terms of luxuries, I suppose we will vote against salt. So let's vote down salt and vote up melee. Hopefully we pick up these diplomatic policies. So it looks like gypsum was voted down, as was melee voted up. So I wonder why they went for gypsum. I guess I just don't have enough information to really make that choice, because I don't even see gypsum, dude. It's not even on my radar. Tech-wise, I think it would be good to backfill a few of these cheap techs that we've already got boosted. Let's take Susan Diakagwana, even though we plan to kill them, because it's worth Era's score, and then we'll start building up, pumping all of our envoys into Mitla. We've got our Petra Hills built. Military training will trigger a change in my government, so we'll wait for that. We're still pumping out the Colosseum. Yeah, I think things are looking okay. Shipbuilding is completed. Military training is completed. Let's go ahead and change our government. We're going to change Ilkum to colonization. We'll keep everything else the same. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. No need to change anything in here. This builder will be sent southwards to Koba to help the city out. Let's see. I don't need this pin anymore. Don't need these pins anymore. Let's place our theatre square district that we plan to build in the capital, and then just return to the Colosseum. I've got 2 charges on a builder here, and no real tiles that are in need of improving. I could pop down a couple of extra farms in the city. I mean, we do get technically better farms as thingy, and they do give +1 full housing. So a few extra farms in the flat tiles does make sense as the civ. Let's grab defensive tactics for the extra governor title, and we will send an envoy to Mitla. It's all about developing that relationship with Mitla now. It's the only science city-state that we know of. Jebel Barkal was built by another player, so that kind of takes it out of the running for us, which is unfortunate because I was hoping to go for that. I would have put my theatre square here. We found Johannesburg, a very cool city-state. +1 production for every improved resource type. That's potentially 3 production per city if it has a bonus strategic and luxury resource. Could be worth building a relationship with Johannesburg. I'm really hoping I don't get one turned on this Colosseum. There's defensive tactics, excellent. That will give us another governor title. We also got Samarkand, man-at-arms right now. That's going to make them very hard for us to kill. So we might have to delay any potential killing of these city-states for quite a while. Let's go ahead and sell off our spare luxuries. Being suzerain of these city-states is actually really good for my economy. We might not try to kill them yet. We might keep them around for a while. Oh man, there's a triple plantation over here. That's just gross. It's a +6. I think I settle a city here. So I settle a city here to take control of the northern peninsula. I settle a city over here. Where exactly over here? I think this tile right here is okay. I could technically move it down a couple of tiles. And if I were to settle here, I basically claim all the same tiles with the exception of these hills. But now I can put my observatory next to a tea resource. And then potentially a couple of farms adjacent to it later. We'll see. I could go for grants on Pingala, which I think would be totally fine. I think I'm going to go for Liang. And I'm going to put her into Kopan for now. Eventually I might move her, but this is where I'm likely to build builders. So the +1 build charge from Pingala's tier 1 appointment is quite good. I might also go for a Mani to put her into Mitla. I don't necessarily care too much about Mitla's bonus, but it would be really nice to be suzerain of them. But more importantly, it's better to have the +2 signs coming from them. Okay, let's talk about tech. I think our goal is just to efficiently get through the tech tree here. So I won't be boosting this tech. I won't be boosting this tech. I will be boosting machinery. In fact, I'll be boosting it right now. Boost. There we go. There's the Ulche. And the Ulche. And the Ulche, there's the boost for machinery. Would have been so much easier to get the era score that way, but hey, we had it. We saved it for later. So machinery is boosted. So those are my next 3 techs. And then hopefully we'll have time to get an aqueduct. I think it would be reasonable to go for one in the capital. It's a lot of housing, and the city has a lot of growth potential. We could also give a farm to another city. Do I want to do that? No, these cities are already at their housing growth cap. They're not bad tiles to give, honestly. Hurts the capital's growth, but like they already grew, you know what I mean? So do they even really need it? Koba, I'm going to go ahead and buy a granary. Now the city will grow like crazy, which is great. Let's go for feudalism, that +1 production. Sorry, the +2 build charges on builders is going to be amazing. And the farm improvements gain +1 food from every 2 adjacent farms will be quite nice too. Also plantations gain +1 food. The level of efficiency that you get from +2 build charges is insane. Even just +1 build charge is like a 33% efficiency. If you have +3 build charges, 2 from feudalism and 1 from Liang, you're literally doubling the efficiency of your builders. And don't forget, every time you build a builder, they become more expensive. So not only are you making each individual builder more efficient, you're making every subsequent builder more efficient too. And the cost of your builders is expanding slower. Does that make sense? Because you need less of them to improve your empire. It's just like the builder efficiency thing is just so huge. Honestly, I think the serfdom card is one of the biggest balance problems in the game. It's just too good for wide empires. All right, so the city of Palenque is quite an important city in a variety of ways. I'm going to place an aqueduct. I'm not actually going to build it, but that's mostly for the housing. I'm going to place a harbor. And the reason the city needs a harbor is to improve these fish tiles, to give them extra food, and also the trade route and all that sort of stuff. So this city's going to focus on a harbour because a harbour is where the majority of the city's yields are going to come from. I mean, if you look at what's in range of it, if I hold down control, you see all those fishing tiles in the red area. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fishing tiles. That's a potential +6 food in this city and 3 housing, a ton of gold. So that will super justify the city's capabilities here. Because once you get yourself the lighthouse here, it's +1 food on all coast tiles and +2 housing if the city's adjacent to coast. So not only does it give you extra housing, it gives you the food to grow into those housing and so on and so forth. So it just makes coastal cities so much better. Their potential is so much higher. I could build a Beatty. I'm not going to. Let's place a farm. Give that city half a point of housing. One of the few saves that you actually want to build a lot of farms on. No. My Colosseum. I got one turned on the Colosseum. Fiddlesticks. That's okay. You know what? Didn't want it anyway. I didn't want it. I didn't want the Colosseum. Didn't want the Colosseum. All right, let's plan our empire. We're going to settle a city over here. So I need 1, 2, 3 settlers. All right. Yeah, I don't need a Colosseum. I don't need it. Put another city over there. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.